Hello, this is my 10th vlog, my final vlog. So I'm going to be reflecting on some of the issues that we covered this semester that I felt were the most critical to me, or the ones that stood out to me the most and felt most informative, because we covered a lot this semester, and even though we didn't get to every single issue that students and teachers who are in the classroom today may be facing, I did feel like we covered the ones that were the most relevant and will be the most helpful to us as we all become teachers within the next few years. And I felt that sitting down each week and making either the vlogs or writing a blog and reading the different articles or watching the documentary or the videos, I felt that best taught me and let me get a grasp on each topic, since we were reading different perspectives and watching different perspectives and just hearing from all different sources what we needed to know about each topic, and then having to write my own kind of blog about each topic really allowed me to understand each one and get a feel for each one. The ones that stood out to me or felt the most critical to me were the modules on cyberbullying, the one on school violence, the racism one, the gender and identity one, and the one on cell phone use in schools. And this is because I felt that a lot of these tie together and kind of go hand in hand, and some of them excuse me, we covered earlier on, like the racism or the gender and identity, but topics or things that we talked about during those modules I felt came back later on when we were learning about school violence and cyberbullying. So I just felt like there was a lot of overlap between different topics. So these are the ones that kind of surfaced the most throughout each module for me, I would say, and I could tie them back to things we learned before. For cyberbullying and school violence the most, I feel like those were probably the ones that I could connect really every module to. They could always be tied back to cyberbullying and school violence because, when you talk to children about topics like gender and identity, sexuality, or racism, and you kind of give them the language they need to express themselves, or you are introducing new concepts and new topics to them that they may not be thinking about otherwise. I think it makes them more accepting people and more open-minded people when you read them books with characters of all different colors and body types and maybe different family styles, maybe books with same-sex parents or single parent households or homeless characters. You kind of give them a broader view on the world that maybe they're not getting otherwise. And when you give them that broader view, you open their minds up, they become more accepting. And I think more accepting people are less likely to target other people. They're less likely to target them online or in person, or commit or kind of act out and commit acts of violence in school. Because if things are okay in their home lives, if they're feeling seen in school, they're not going to act out and cause school violence. I feel like the cell phones in school module really connected to the cyberbullying one because so many of the articles talked about when cell phones were taken out of schools, the face-to-face interactions between students increased so much. And students were kind of able to talk and connect to each other once again. And I think that when students are given phones from such an early age, they forget that people are people and not just other characters behind a screen. And I think when you have that human connection, you're less likely to be mean to someone because you're not just saying something online and then getting a bunch of likes for it. You're actually seeing someone, seeing how your words affect them. So I thought that module was so important for also creating open-minded, accepting people when they are actually allowed to interact with their peers face-to-face and build those deeper connections instead of being behind a screen all day. So I felt like all of these topics kind of coincided with one another, like especially when we were talking about cyberbullying. Some of the things that people may be cyberbullied for could be pertaining to their race or their gender or their sexuality, but when you start to have those topics talked about in the classroom, students are less likely to find it jarring, and they'll be less reactive if they do encounter someone who they deem as different from them later on in their life. So more accepting individuals, I think, would lead to less school violence, less cyberbullying. And I definitely thought about all these topics that we covered after the election and all of the future endeavors that the Department of Education is going to face now. I think it was very helpful for me to learn about different ways to talk about these topics with children now that may look different in schools. Just knowing that there are different ways you can have these conversations with children without it being inappropriate or kind of out of pocket. You can have meaningful conversations with them at their level and still have them understand. So these were just a few of the topics that I felt were most critical to me that we learned about this semester. All of them were important, all of them informed me, and I think all will make me a better educator in the future, but these were the ones that really resonated with me and stuck out to me the most. Thank you.